What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the new film adaptation, Dear Evan Hansen. Dear Evan Hansen tells a story about Evan Hansen, a high school senior with social anxiety disorder. He gets an assignment from his therapist where he has to write a letter to himself entitled Dear Evan Hansen. But when one of his classmates finds the letter, he then unfortunately takes his own life. Evan's life then spirals out of control when his grieving family think that him and Connor have been best of friends because Connor signed his name on Evan's cast, and now he has to make up these stories about all the times that they've spent together, these emails, the people thinking that they've been best of friends for the longest of time. They found out a little bit, but when things starts getting spiral out of control, things go from better to worse. The film also stars Amy Adams, Caitlin Dever, Danny Pino, Amanda Stenberg, Colton Ryan, Nick Dodani, and Julianne Moore. Now, I'm a huge fan of the director of this film, Steven Skobosky. I'm not sure if I pronounced his last name right, but I tried. I really like Wonder. I haven't seen Perks of Being a Wallflower, and Wonder was a wonderful film. I really enjoyed that film. It brought out some great emotions. So I was really excited to see what this director would do with this film, with this subject matter, with this material that has already been established, this Tony Award winning stage play. And I was really looking forward to this film just because of the message of the film alone. I'm not the biggest Ben Platt fan. He doesn't get me out of bed in the morning. I believe I've only seen him in Pitch Perfect for that little role that he had. He also just had an episode of The Premise that just came out, I believe last week or a couple weeks ago. He was decent in that episode, and I really like what he brought to that show. There's a lot of controversy around this film, mainly because of the casting choices between Ben Platt playing this 17-year-old, even though he doesn't look 17 in real life. But in the film, they did some de-aging, which is a little bit distracting. I'm not sure how distracting it would be if I didn't know about the controversy. But since I do know about the controversy, there is a lot of things in this film that really vibe with me, and a lot of things that didn't vibe with me. Let me just go ahead and start off with the general premise of the film. I'm not going to go into heavy spoilers in this film because I believe there's a lot of things in this film to talk about, especially towards the end of the film, especially choices that people make in this film. And so I'm just going to start off with the positives of the film. There's quite a few positives in the film. I really like the central gist of this film, the message of the film, of this kid who committed suicide, this grieving community trying to do something to honor his memory. That's something that vibed with me a lot. I really appreciated that. As somebody that deals with depression and with suicide, this film was probably one of the starting points for me. I wish we could have came out of this film trying to have a conversation not only with ourselves but with the people around us, people that deal with this kind of stuff. And if you deal with this kind of stuff and you really like this film, please don't let me discourage you from not liking this film. These are my personal takes on the film. These are my personal opinions on the film. But if you are somebody like me that deals with this kind of stuff, please go out and find somebody to talk to. It does help a lot, and it does help you move forward. There's a lot of things in this film that try to hone a message that I really appreciated for them bringing to light, especially with the subject matter that this film with the subject matter that this film entails with. And so I'm not sure how much they adapted from the play because I never saw the play. Um, I don't know how much liberty they took in rearranging some stuff, but and that's as far as my aside from like performances, because Caitlin Dever is somebody that I've watched since she was in Bad Teacher. She was one of my childhood crushes, and she still is to this day. She is growing to be a wonderful and beautiful actress. She was really good in Booksmart. Amy Adams is also wonderful. Amanda Stenberg, since she was Rue in Hunger Games, I thought she was great in The Hate You Give. And even though she doesn't get a lot of limelight in this film, uh, Julianne Moore, for the brief little moments that she's in this film, she's really good. She's really good. Performances over the top are great. Ben Platt gives a wonderful performance as well. However, this film is kind of a different and manipulative film. We follow somebody that is completely unlikable, especially when it comes to this grieving family. I really enjoyed the parts where we see Amy Adams, Caitlin Dever, and Danny Pino's characters dealing with the loss of their son. I thought that was a really more authentic and more subdued version of this film that I wish we've gotten, because even though they are trying to send a message across all the way, I feel like they centered the film on somebody else. I think this film would have been better if you just followed those characters and got rid of Evan Hansen. You could have still done a little bit more of adaptation with this film. You could have simply just called it Connor. You could have called it Connor, and we could have just followed Connor's family trying to grieve, trying to spread a message across the board. Have Caitlin Dever's character spread that message to the community and to people around her, because halfway through the film, as I was getting to the parts where I wasn't really enjoying the film, I kept rewriting the film in my head, and with every little beat that you make, you could have easily taken out Evan Hansen and still had gotten that message across. The only thing people are talking about is the age between Evan Hansen and Ben Platt, and I think that is something that needs to be overlooked a lot. I think the message of the film, the way people are trying to get this message across, is great, and I really enjoyed that they were trying to shine a light on this for people who deal with stuff as depression, suicide, social anxiety, bipolar, stuff like that. You could have easily taken the same you could have just taken the same beats of this film, taken away Evan Hansen, given most of everything that happens to Evan, and put it all into Caitlin Dever's character, and you could have had a tight 2 hour film, because this movie is 2 hours and 17 minutes long, and you do get to feel that because you're not invested in the main character, the person that you're supposed to be following, the person you're supposed to be rooting for, the person that you're supposed to be liking. You really don't get a sense of urgency in this film, and even the musical numbers. There are two in particular that I did like. I liked Sincerely Me. I thought that was really upbeat and it was fun. There was some quick humor in that song, and the way that the characters performed it. I don't think that a lot of the dance sequences in that portion of the song really brought out the emotions that I wanted to. It kind of felt cringy a little bit. Um, but the other song that I really did like was You Will Be Found, not only because of the message of the song, but because that was the first time in this entire film that I actually started getting a little bit choked up, because the way they executed that song with the visuals, the music, the tone, and I will give them credit for that particular scene. But everything after that, it really goes downhill really fast. It really does, and it really upset me because you could have had something strong here. And I'm not trying to take away anything from the message of the film, but the way characters do things, the way they um, make choices, especially when it comes down to Amanda Stenberg's character, that makes you just want to rage quit. I considered walking out probably like the last half of the film, until when we were getting into the third act of the film. I just felt like walking out because I really, the last half of the film really just disappointed me. There's things that feel really manipulative, especially when it comes to Evan Hansen's characters, where he's basically getting liked. You see in Ben Platt's portrayal that he's not the character to be like, yeah, let's profit off this dead kid, you know? He's just still the same person that has social anxiety disorder. People are waving at him in the hallways, but he's not like giving them like high fives and stuff like that, giving them hugs. He's still just like deep down, he doesn't know what he's gotten himself into. And when you have somebody unlikable like Evan Hansen, it really does take a lot out of the film, and it really overshadows the message of the film, because there are some great sequences in this film where you can have a discussion with somebody about this. But by the time that you come out of the film, it just leaves a poor taste in your mouth. And I was really hoping this would rival In the Heights for my number one film. In the Heights is still my favorite number one film of the number one film of the year. But I was really hoping that this film was going to rival that, because I love the trailer. I love the way they used "You Will Be Found" in the trailers with the images and everything. The way they used it in the movie, it's great. But you're following somebody that's really unlikable, and Julianne Moore, aside from the songs, she's just there so Evan Hansen can have somebody to talk to that's not Amy Adams or Caitlin Dever or Danny Pino. And she's, for talented actors like her, she's completely wasted in this film. She doesn't have a lot of screen time. She doesn't have a lot of lines. She's great in the only musical number that she gets, but I think that's the only reason why she's in the film. I'm not sure how much adaptation they made throughout the film, but this film really disappointed me, and I really wanted a lot from this film. It was, unfortunately, it was really disappointing. I wish we could have gotten a little bit more out of this film, but overall, I'm going to go ahead and give Dear Evan Hansen a 4.3 out of 10. I think there's a lot that you could have had. I think this was a missed opportunity. You could have had some wonderful discussions with this film instead of just whether or not Ben Platt was old enough to play this character. Um, but those are my thoughts on the film. Please let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed this film. What did you think about it? Did you like it more than I did? Did you like it less than I did? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments what you think of it. Until next time, this is Josie Reviews.